Hello there, and welcome back for day 27. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Yesterday, we did some talking about the topic of growing through temptation, and today, our topic is entitled Defeating Temptation. 2 Timothy 2 and 22 says, "Run from anything that gives you evil thoughts that young men often have, but stay close to anything that makes you want to do right." 1 Corinthians 10:13 says, "Remember that the temptations that have come into your life are no different from what others experience, and God is faithful. He will keep the temptation from becoming so strong that you can't stand up against it. When you are tempted, He will show you a way out so that you will not give into it." God has promised to never allow more on you than He puts within you to handle it. He will not permit any temptation that you could not overcome. However, you must do your part by practicing four biblical principles to defeat temptation. Number one, refocus your attentions on something else. Psalm 119:37 says, "Keep me from paying attention to what is worthless, Lord." And a practical application through Scripture is a practical application through Scripture from Job in Job 31 and 1. He says, "I made a covenant with my eyes not to look with lust upon a young woman." So sometimes you have to command your body and things to do what's right, even when normally you wouldn't want to. So shifting that attention to something else. Proverbs 4 and 23 tells us to be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. Number two, reveal your struggle to a godly friend or support group so that you can get help, so that you're not in this alone. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 says, "You are better off to have a friend than be all alone. For if you fall, your friend can help you up. But if you fall without having a friend nearby, you're really in trouble." Another version says, "Two are better than one, for they have a greater return for their work." All right. So, yes, it is humbling to admit your weaknesses to others, but a lack of humility is the very thing that's keeping a lot of us from getting better. Number three, resist the devil. James 4 and 7 says, "Resist the devil and he will flee." Resist the devil and he will flee. Four, realize your vulnerability. Like, don't let him catch you slipping. You have to know in advance the things that are easy for you to trip up on so that you can avoid those pitfalls. 1 Corinthians 10 and 12 says, "If you think you're standing strong, be careful not to fall." That same verse, 1 Corinthians 10 to 12, in the Message says it this way: "Don't be so naive and self-confident. You are not exempt. You could fall flat on your face as easily as anyone else. Forget about self-confidence. It's useless. Cultivate God confidence." Right, so realize where you're weak, because even when you think you're strong, that's where the enemy can swoop in and still catch you. So today, in our talk about defeating temptation, I want you to remember that we have to do our part to overcome temptation. We do that by refocusing our attention to something else, getting support from your community in whatever your struggle is. Let someone know so they can encourage you and point you in the right directions, help to hold you accountable. That is so very important. And then resist the devil. When he tries to come up against you, say, "Hey, I'm not doing that. Okay, I know what's right." And lastly, realize where you're vulnerable. If you know where you're vulnerable, it makes it easier for you to recognize the attacks of the enemy, because he's going to choose the same places over and over again. He knows where you're weak. So you might as well benefit from knowing where you're weak as well so that you can overcome it. All right, guys, that's it for today. Day 27 is a wrap. I hope it was a blessing to you. Thank you for watching. I love you and God bless. I'll see you tomorrow.